Oh, man. Congrats to her. Congrats to Mariah. Kevin Gregory, healthy. Healthy baby boy. Named after my father.
Mike, obviously you guys had a tough loss Saturday. What did you think about the way you guys bounced back and you held them off and they had a pretty furious comeback there?
I had that pit in my stomach as we did Saturday, as I felt like we were watching the scoreboard and just hoping for an SEC road win, hoping the clock would run out, and you can't be successful consistently doing that. We made enough plays down the stretch, but the wrong mentality late in the game for us, both offensively and defensively. I thought Kayvon and Jalen made enough plays to pull us through. We got a couple stops there late. Credit Mason Jones and the Razorbacks and the decibel level and Bud Walton that got electric in there. Had us a little bit rattled there, I thought. But overall, Bob, to bounce back after the really heartbreaking loss we had Saturday, come in here, have some of the same hurdles to have to overcome, feels good, of course. Anytime you can win here, my goodness, we'll take it.
Mike, what was during the timeout in the huddle? Dante was saying the guys were looking at each other. We have to close this game out. We have to close this game out. What was the confidence level that was going to happen, given the energy that was in the building?
It was average, Chris. It's got to be better than that. We've got to be tougher than that. And we're not a team. I know we're starting 2 freshmen. We play Keontae Johnson, significant minutes, but we're not overly young. I mean, everyone's playing at least a couple freshmen, 3 freshmen. I mean, Arkansas is younger than we are. They've got really good young talent and a bunch. And so we've got some juniors and seniors out there that we've got to play like it. We've got to play like more of a seasoned group, mentally tougher. We've got to get more leadership, and I think Dante's growing in that regard. Noah and Andrew are growing in that regard. But we were when we got up 15, we were different, and hopefully we learn from that. We didn't learn from it Saturday, but maybe 2 in a row we'll learn from it. And I'm not sure we'll be up 15 again, but hopefully we will be.
Call timeout with 12 seconds left, up 4. What was the plan there? What did you say in the huddle?
Just scream, don't foul a 3 about 87 times in a row. We just wanted to make sure. Also, we thought, especially with the speed of Harris, that they could potentially extend the game by drawing a quick foul, getting to the line. As much as we were struggling with press, I really just wanted to key in on the defensive possession and see if we could get a stop.
I know Kayvon didn't have a great shooting night, but he looked like he was aggressive. He got to the line. He closed it out with the free throws. What did you think of his game?
He was the best player on the court, I thought. I say that Mason Jones was pretty good, but Kayvon was our best player tonight. If we were to give a game ball, I hope my other guys don't get sensitive about that, but he was really good. And I thought he had a couple other pretty good looks that if they could have gone down, he would have had really good numbers. He handled the ball against pressure, against the noise, more so than he has probably in his career. Played with poise, drew fouls, and he's one of the best free throw shooters. In fact, he might be the best in the history of our school. And goes 11 to 12 with some big ones down the stretch.
Kalarius again in foul trouble.
Yeah,
but Dante
was really good.
Speak to his performance.
Yeah, Dante's a company guy. He's always ready. He's probably our most physical guy. He's got to clean up some stuff. He had a foul on Gafford early in the game. He's competitive. He brings us some fire, and I know of one at least good offensive play that he made where the ball was in traffic and he snatched it and went up and finished it. He was pretty good for us.
Coach White, Gafford gets 2 really important or good buckets early on. Are you stunned that maybe Arkansas went away from him, or do you feel like you guys defended him that well with that all game long? Excuse me.
Yeah, that's a tough one to answer because he's such a good player and he demands all 5 guys on the court's attention and everyone we put in the game, and we doubled him the entire game, and we just felt like we needed to, and so I just think there's other factors involved. They knew we were doubling, of course. Sometimes as soon as it touched his hands, he's got 2 and 3 guys around him. We did a pretty good job of rotating out of those fires. We call them fires, those post traps. But a couple times, they made us pay for the post traps where they got open threes out of them.
Your first time to see Mason Jones, what'd you think of him, and what did you guys do on that stop when it's a 2-point game? Coming out of Arkansas's timeout, he drove, and you got to stop, and Bailey couldn't get the rebound to stick back. What'd you guys do on that?
Yeah, but nothing different, Bob. I think it was, if I remember it correctly, was a ball screen coverage going to his right hand. Correct. He threw up kind of a floater in the paint. Fortunately, I think it was Bassett, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe Hayes. I remember 2 hands, showing hands, sticking his chest out. Fortunately, we didn't come down and whack at an arm and foul him. And then I kind of had a bad view of the rebound, but fortunately we came up with it. What was your other question, Bob, before that?
What did you think of Mason Jones?
A shooter with size and length, with a high release. Just like Isaiah Joe. That was a big point of emphasis coming into the game. To complement Daniel Gafford, they've got 2 guys that release it quick, that release it with size, that have high pockets with their jumpers. Those guys, they're hard to defend, and they've made a bunch of shots early on in the season, early on in their careers. Mason Jones he had a heck of a performance. I mean, our guys have been pretty good defensively, and I'm not sure that we've given up 30 this year. Chris would know. I don't know, but he was terrific.
During the long holiday period, the long semester break, how do you as a coach balance maybe trying not to work players out too much? Is there a danger of that? Because sometimes they don't play games as often as they did, and so you've got them on the practice floor and nobody's around on campus.
Yeah.
Do you run a danger of players getting dead-legged and mentally fatigued?
I think so. I think you've got to balance it, and I don't know where that balance is. I'm still young in this. I don't claim to have all the answers by any stretch. I do know that we had a lot of discussion about it as a staff, in that the college basketball season now is as long as any collegiate athletic season. It's crazy long, and now we're working these guys out in the summer. So you want to try to keep them fresh for the SEC stretch. That said, you want to get better. So it's like a daily conversation, and you're always trying to evaluate your guys, not only physically but mentally. I think mentally sometimes guys can get beat down, even when you're practicing, an hour 20, hour 30. But it's every day, and the grind of it, and wins and losses and film. I think mentally, your guys can be really tired, and sometimes when you think it's physical, it's actually mental. It is a neat time, though, for guys who want to be professional basketball players. I'm sure Coach A and most staffs in the league talk to these guys about, hey, all you guys want to be pros, and this is the time of year where you don't have class. We're paying you per diem. You've got unlimited meals. You're a professional, so get in the gym as much as you want, sleep as much as you want, but for 3-4 weeks, treat yourself like you're a professional.
All right.
Thanks, guys.